So now we're moving to the British Isles, and more specifically to Ireland, where we're going to be looking at a monolith, or a megalith. These are massive stone constructions. Sometimes they are burials, sometimes they are other forms. And what we're specifically looking at right now is Newgrange, the oldest burial monument that we find in Ireland. And this is a massive, what's called a passage grave. It's a megalithic tomb. Megalithic, again, massive stone architecture. And the passage and chamber are particularly important because on the winter solstice, for 17 minutes, the sun will shine down the entire path of the tomb, 63 feet, to the back of the tomb. And this only happens on the winter solstice and for a couple of mornings before and after. When it does this, the sun actually shines through what's called the roof box, which is this up here. So the sun is shining through there down the passage. And this means that they had to know when the winter solstice is so that they could lay this out. You could imagine an ancient person going on the winter solstice, putting a rod in the ground, seeing which direction that shadow points, and then building this entire tomb based on that orientation. This takes a great deal of forethought and means that that winter solstice is particularly important. For ancient societies, it often meant a turning point, that things were going to start warming up again, that spring would be eventually on its way. While we think of the winter solstice as the middle of winter, almost a day of death, which is why we surround ourselves with evergreens and lights to protect ourselves from it. Now, there's also an entrance stone, which we see here, which was set in front of the monument. And by the way, Newgrange was rebuilt in the late 19th century, which is why it's in such good condition. Now, we don't know what the spirals mean. We don't know what the purpose of this stone is, although it may be symbolic of the people buried in the tomb. And it may also have honored the dead in some way. It may relate to their pagan religious beliefs. And by the way, when I speak of pagan in this class, it usually means non-Christian. And all societies at this point are non-Christian. We haven't gotten to any of that development yet. Now, inside, in the center of Newgrange, is a corbel vaulted dome. And what a corbel vaulted dome is basically you're taking stones and you're stacking them one inside of the next. So we would have a stone here, and then we're going to stack the next one just inside and continue that up until we get to the top. And we're going to do it on the other side as well until the two sides meet and you put a capstone, which we see here, over the whole thing. This is the first form of dome and one that the Irish use and we'll see again among the Greeks. Why build it? Well, that's a big question. See, Newgrange is massive. It would have taken incredible manpower, which means whoever's buried there would have had to be incredibly powerful and incredibly important to deserve such a thing, to demand such resources. But we still don't know who it is. We've found bodies, but we don't know what role they played or why they got this tomb. But Newgrange isn't the only megalithic structure we're going to look at.